how to solve
inequalities.
problem 1.
To start with the first problem, which is 2/3 minus x over 5 is less than 4/15. We look for a common denominator. We look for something common in all the denominators in the below. And we multiply them each by 15, which is the common denominator. They each go into 15. 15 goes into 15, 5 goes into 15, and 3 goes into 15. To get rid of the denominators, you have to find what they each are multiplied by. So this 3 is multiplied by 5 to get to 15. So you also multiply the numerator by that, so 2 times 5. Same with 5. 5 times 3 is 15, so x times 3. Same with 15. 15 times 1, 4 times 1. Once you've multiplied them, you'll come out with your answer. So 2/3 becomes 10 because you've gotten rid of the denominator and multiplied the numerator. Same with the x over 5 becomes negative 3x because there's a negative sign there before, which was there. And there's an x. You can't get rid of the x. You can't just multiply it, so it becomes 3x. And then 4/15 is going to become 4 because you multiply it by 1. As you're continuing on trying to solve this, you're trying to get the x by itself. So you can start by subtracting 10 from both sides. To continue on with what you've just done, you have the negative 6 on this side now. You're going to divide by negative 3 to get rid of the 3 from the x. So you divide that from both sides. You come up with x is greater than 2. But that's not the final answer because you have to flip the inequalities. So you're going to get x is less than 2. The reason we're actually flipping the inequalities here because when you're multiplying or dividing by negative, you're bringing the negative sign to the other side, which makes the statement untrue. It's like a scale which is unbalanced, and they have to stay the same kind of unbalanced when you're flipping it. So this, if I were to keep it like this would be it would not be the true version of the problem.
Okay, but your answer doesn't stop there. You still need to graph your answer. So, since we know that x is less than 2, you would make a solid dot. If it was a hollow dot, it would mean x could be equal to 2, but it's a solid dot and an arrow going down towards 0 and past 0, which means that x is less than 2. Now, the reason the dot isn't hollow is because it is uninclusive, meaning 2 can't be equal to x. But if the dot were in fact to be hollow, like this, it would mean x could be 2. But in this case, x cannot be 2. So, the dot is solid.
And then you have here the final solution, how we did the problem. This is the whole thing, basically.
Problem number 2. First, you have to distribute the 4 to the 2y and to the negative 3. Now, to extend getting y by itself, you have to add 12 to both sides. Then you have to divide by 8 on both sides to help get y by itself. Then you combine the like terms on the right side, so the answer is y is greater than 5.
This is our final problem, and this is how you would graph this. So you'd start by making your number line, make your tick for 0, make your tick for 5, and since y is greater than 5, you would want to put a solid dot and draw an arrow going away from 0.
Problem number 3. For this problem, you're going to distribute the 2/3 into the parentheses. So here we go, here and here. And you come out with 14/24 minus 8/3 x, because you had an x up here, minus 5/8 is less than 3/8, which is the same up here.
So you have the problem here, like you had on the last slide. And then to help get x by itself, you have to add 5/8 to both sides.
For the next step, you would want to subtract 14/24 from the left side of the equation to make x that much more by itself. And then you would get what is down here.
So to continue on, we're going to combine like terms right here. So we're going to subtract 14/24 from 24/24. Down here you'll get -8/3 x is less than 10/24. So your next step in that is going to be to divide by 8/3 to continue getting x by itself on both sides. But when you want to divide something, which you can't do over here, because you can't, well you can, but you can't divide two fractions. You take the number and you get its reciprocal, so that becomes 3/8, and you multiply them to get your answer.
So for the next step, you take 10/24 and multiply it by 3/8, which equals -x is less than 30/192. Then you can reduce that to -x is less than 10/64. Then you can reduce that again to -x is less than 5/32.
But sadly, this cannot be completed in the way it currently is because there is still a negative sign. But luckily, that negative sign is linked to a 1. So this -1 is being multiplied by x, which is causing x to be negative. So to get rid of that negative sign, you divide both sides by -1. And you flip the inequality because you're dividing by a negative, so you get x is greater than 5/32. Yeah. But you're not done there. You need to graph this. So you take a number line. 0 is right here. And you have 5/32. And because x is greater than 5/32, you have your filled in dot and an arrow going away from the 0.
Problem number 4.
Okay, in this problem, we assume that a is less than 0, meaning a is a negative number. So to start off, we want to subtract b from both sides because this is the side that x is on, and x is the number we are solving for. So that will give us y minus b is less than a times x. Now, to completely solve this problem, we need to get rid of the a, because a is the only thing still connected to x on this side of the problem. So, in order to do that, you want to divide both sides by a, which would give us y minus b is less than, y minus b over a is less than x, which is the solution to this problem.
So to continue getting x by itself, you have to subtract b from both sides to get rid of b on the left side. Inequalities in your daily life. So one of the examples of inequalities in your daily life is speed limit, where it's like the legal speed on a highway is less than or equal to 65 miles per hour. Another example of inequalities in your daily life is a credit card, where you get paid the monthly payment, which could be greater than or equal to 10% of your balance. Another example could be text messages, where the allowable number of texts per month is less than or equal to 250 texts. Another one could be travel time, where the time needed to walk from home to school has to be greater than or equal to 18 minutes. This is our project by Emmy, Maya, and Parker in B block math.